It's so nice to be here with you. Let's start by walking our feet nice and wide with the outer edges of your feet turned straight. And then from this wide position, we're just gonna do some pelvic tilts. So we're gonna let our pelvis roll back so we're closer to our tailbone and rotate our pelvis as much forward as we can. When you rotate your pelvis back and forth, you shouldn't have to push your rib cage forward and back. So just keep your ribs relaxed down and use your feet and your legs to rotate your pelvis. And if you don't have a lot of range of motion here, that's why we're practicing. The more you keep your ribs relaxed down and back, the more you'll have to use your deeper core muscles to help rotate your pelvis. So it's a win-win. Tuning into your breath here, letting your breath flow. And I just realized that when I do this a lot of times, I must still subtly thrust my ribs because it's a lot more core work when I'm not thrusting my ribs at all. I'm having my hands really dropping my ribs down and back like I'm doing a crunchie. If at first your shoulders and your head drop forward, that's okay. All right, I'll show you from the side view. Walk your feet in just a little bit closer. We'll do 4, 3, 2, and 1 will be hip distance. But from a side view, it's your pelvis rolls back and your pelvis rolls upright. And you're trying to come as much towards the bottom of your buttocks as you can. Use your feet gently pressing down. Feel like you're dragging them back towards you, and then they're sliding away from you, even though they're not moving. Breathing here. Ribs down is really the key. All right, and then walk your feet into 3, and let's rotate our pelvis here. And just go as far as you can, those bones coming forward. That's usually where we want to sit when we're sitting upright. It's a lot more forward than most people think or feel. All right, and then let's go to hip distance apart and let's rotate there. Okay, so now we're gonna do the opposite. We're gonna try to not let our pelvis sink back, not anywhere from a tiny bit to a lot. We're gonna try to tilt it all the way upright. And we're gonna keep our pelvis upright and lift and drop our ribs down and back. Now, if you can't move your rib cage without your pelvis rolling around, that's why we're here practicing. We do wanna be able to move these areas separate from each other. Pause, walk your feet open to 2, and keep the pelvis upright as you just lift and lower the rib cage. It's like you're doing crunchies, essentially. And the more that your pelvis stays upright, when you drop down and back, the more you use your deeper abdominal muscles. All right, let's walk our feet open to 3, pelvis upright, and just ribs up and down. Breathing. And we want the pelvis upright more, but the ribs relaxing down and back more often. Just when we're in neutral, it's a good thing to move our arms around a lot with our ribs relaxed down and back, move our neck around a lot, walk your feet a little wider, pelvis upright. So when you see people really hunching all day, it can come from the upper spine, but a lot of that is coming from the shoulders and the neck. So keeping our ribs relaxed down and back and doing more arm movements and shoulder movements will really help open up the chest and the upper back over time. Couple more like this. So now really think of pelvis upright, ribs relaxed down, exaggerate it like you're doing a crunchie and circle your arms up and down here, and really don't let your ribs lift up at all. So this is the ribs just lifting up a little so my arms can go up with more ease. That's what we want to try not to do. We want to keep them down and back so it almost feels like we're working against our own resistance to get our arms up into the air. And breathing here. Smooth inhales and exhales. We get used to doing like pelvis tilts into neutral, ribs relax down and back. And then even if you're a lot better than you used to be, sometimes you realize you have more to go, and then you start to feel like, oh, I can involve even more muscle in what I'm doing. Breathing here, let's do a few more like this. All right, relax your arms down, walk your feet in, and let's spin around to our first lunge. Slide your knee back right under your hip. Think ribs relax down. Now in this case, a lunge is the one place where it's okay to kind of tuck your pelvis under because you'll pull more deeply on the front of your thigh, but we won't start out like that. Ribs relax down and back. It's just because you have one leg that's kind of back. From here, with your ribs relaxed down and back, just circle your outside arm up and down by your side. Remember, if your ribs go down and back and your head goes forward, just slide your ears back over your shoulders a little bit. Breathing. Okay, now keep focusing on those ribs relaxing down and back, and twist to the back of the chair and untwist. And twist and untwist. And twist and untwist and twist and untwist. Now twist, lay your left hand on your right leg, keep twisting, keep the ribs dropping down, and just lift that arm, tap it to the knee, and lift up. Breathing here. And then unwind and spin around to the other side. So knee back underneath the hip, ankle behind the knee, ribs exaggerate down and back, and circle that outside arm. Breathing. The other thing is when you first start out and you're improving range of motion, when you first drop your ribs down, you only might have so much range of motion. And then you keep moving your arms around, your shoulders around, your neck around, and then all of a sudden you can drop your ribs down a little bit more, and it's almost like it goes back to feeling a little bit tighter, but you start to use more muscle or tighter in more areas. Like there's more tension you're working with, but tension is a good thing. We can have too much of it, but it's a really good thing when we have the right amount. All right, let's ribs relax down, twist towards the back of the chair, and unwind, and turn, and unwind, and turn, and unwind, and turn, and unwind. Now turn, bring your right hand over to your left knee, keep the twist of your waist, keep the ribs dropping down, and lift and tap that hand down. Breathing here. All right, unwind, slide the leg forward, spin back around to the front of the chair, scoot your left hip to the center of the chair, and then from here you're gonna walk your right foot out, so your knees pointing out to the side, but try to keep your hips facing forward. And then you're gonna lean over to your left a little bit, and you're gonna extend your leg, flex your ankle a lot, and slide it in and put the ankle right under the knee. Extend and flex, and bend in. Extend and flex, and bend in, and extend and flex, and bend in. And then keep that knee open for a second. Fold forward as you gently push that thigh open. Breathing here. And then from there, come on up. Keep that knee out to the right. Take your right arm up and over into a side bend. While you're here, spread all your fingers wide and touch them all together. Spread them wide and touch them together. Spread them wide and together. Spread them wide and together. Now flip your wrists one way and the other way. Flip your wrist and flip. Flip one way and the other way, one way and the other way. And then wrist straight, bend, tap your head, and reach out. Tap your head and reach out. Tap and reach out. Tap and reach out. Now rotate your arm bone all the way one way, all the way the other. Rotate. Breathing here. And pull yourself up. All right, extend that leg long. Flex ankle continuously. Front ankle under the front knee. From here, reach your arms out to the side. Let's do palms face up. And from here, twist to your left. Hold the twist. Curl your hands into a fist and squeeze and open up. Curl into a fist and squeeze and open. Curl into a fist and squeeze and open. Curl into a fist and squeeze and open. Curl your hands into little fists and turn your wrist down, turn your wrist up. Wrist turn down and up, down and up and down and up. And then with hands facing forward, twisting to the left, bend and tap the back of your head. Use this opportunity to back your head up if it was leaning forward and extend. Bend in and tap and extend. Bend in and tap and extend. Bend in and tap. Front ribs relax down and extend. Now rotate your arm bones all the way one way and all the way the other way. Keep on breathing. Smooth inhales and exhales. Keep flexing your right ankle. All right, come back to center. Lower your hands down. Slide your right leg in. Scoot your right hip to the center of the chair. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. Your left foot out, keeping your hips mostly facing forward. You can lean a little bit to the right. Extend, flex your ankle, and bend. Ankle right under the knee. Extend and bend, and extend, and bend, and extend, flexing, and bend. Hold that knee open, fold forward, pull that thigh open a little. Breathing here. And then come on up. Okay, from here, keep this knee bent. Take your left arm up and over into a side bend. Open all your fingers wide, close them together with straight fingers. Open fingers and close. Open and close. Open and close. Wrist flips down and up. Wrist flips down and up and down and up and down and up. And then straight wrist, tap the back of the head. Extend and reach over. Tap the top or the back of the head and reach over. I also like the top of the head. Extend, top of the head, and extend. Now rotate that arm bone. Breathing here. Smooth inhales and exhales. All right, pull yourself up. Extend that leg long. Keep flexing your ankle. Reach your arms out to the side. We'll do palms face down. Twist your belly button to your right and hold. And then from there, curl your hands into a fist and squeeze. Open all your fingers. Curl and squeeze and open. Curl and squeeze and open. Curl and squeeze and open. Curl into a gentle fist. Keep twisting to the right. Wrists turn down and up, and down, and up, and down, and up, and down, and up. And then from there, palms face forward, tap in, front ribs down, but head slides back, extend. Tap in, keep twisting to the right, keep flexing your ankle, and extend. Tap in, and extend, tap in, and extend. And then from there, rotate your arm bones all the way one way and all the way the other. Breathing here. Smooth inhales and exhales. Definitely feel like I'm getting to some different muscles when I twist and rotate. All right, unwind and slide that leg in. Okay, let's spin around to your left first this time for a lunge. Slide your knee back underneath your hip, front ribs relax down with your palm and elbow pit forward. We're gonna exaggerate ribs down and back. And really, for a lot of us, it's not an exaggeration, it's where we want them to be more often. But today we're gonna think of it as an exaggeration. Keep them down and back as you lift your arm up. It's like there's resistance because this wants to happen for your arm to go higher, but you're keeping your ribs back and lower down. And rise up and down, rise up and down, and rise up and hold. Now keep your ribs down, and just because we're in a lunge, tuck your pelvis under, push your pubic bone forward, and breathing here. So it's kind of like you're slightly rounding upper body and tucking your pelvis under, feeling the front of the thigh. Smooth inhales and exhales. Holding a little bit longer, breathing. All right, lower the hand, slide the foot forward, spin around to the other side. Knee back under the hip, exaggerate your ribs down and back. So see how my ribs are flat with my lower back? You actually want your ribs to push back behind your lower back curve a little bit. And arm goes up and down. Arm goes up and down. Reach it up and down, and reach it up and down. Now reach the arm up, keep the ribs curling down. Doesn't matter how high the arm gets. Tuck the pelvis under a little bit. Pubic bone goes forward, and breathing here. Smooth inhales and exhales. Keep tucking under, keep dropping the ribs down, keep lifting the arm. Relax any excessive clenching. Smooth inhales and exhales. A little bit longer. And lower the hand and slide the knee forward and spin back around to the front of the chair. And we'll do knees hip distance apart, ankles over the knees. You can fold hands, elbows. You can go forward. Keep breathing. Relax any clenching. Slide your feet out a little bit in front of your knees. Fold over any amount here. Doesn't matter how far you go. Slide your feet out a little farther where you can still keep your feet flat and your knees are bent. And fold over your legs any amount here. Breathing. And slowly come up. Okay, from there, slide your knees back. We're going back into another lunge. Slide your foot back. And then we're going to do a quad stretch. So grab your strap, lasso it around your ankle, pull that thigh bone back. You can keep your pelvis tucked under a little bit here, but try not to let your thigh bone go forward as you lift and lower. Elbow point straight back as you lift and lower. And lift and lower and lift and lower. And now lift and hold, pull the thigh bone back, front ribs drop down, head slides back over the shoulders, maybe flex your ankle a lot more, and being here and breathing here and relaxing any excessive clenching. And then lower that foot down, slide the knee forward, and spin around to the other side. So wrapping the strap around the ankle, slide that knee back. Front ribs relax down a lot. It's okay if you push your pubic bone forward a little, but keep sliding your thigh bone back. And lift and tap. Lift, elbow points back and tap. And lift and tap. And lift and tap. Lift, try to pull that thigh bone back a little more, ribs drop down, maybe flex your ankle even more, and breathing here. Ears slide back over the shoulders. Smooth inhales and exhales. All right, release. You can put that out of the way. You put your right foot up on a block, or you can cross your ankle over your knee. Sit up nice and tall, maybe even roll back a little bit and then roll back upright and twist to your right and twist to your left and back to center and switch legs. So rotate your pelvis back a little bit and then rotate it all the way upright. But remember, when you rotate your pelvis, the ribs shouldn't have to thrust. So ribs down, even as pelvis goes upright. And twist to your left, and twist to your right, and unwind, and uncross, and then walk your feet nice and wide, sit up nice and tall, inner thighs open, twist your belly button to the right, ribs stay relaxed down, twist your belly button to the left, ribs stay relaxed down, and come back to center and walk your feet in and extend your legs nice and long and twist your belly button to the right and twist your belly button to the left. And then with 2 straight legs, actively flex your ankle, actively relax your thighs as you fold forward any amount. And then slowly come up and bend your knees and press down into your feet and come up to the back of your chair. And from the back of the chair, walk back 2 straight arms and 2 straight legs. And so it's the same thing here. You can tuck and untuck your pelvis from this position. We want to be more in the untucked. You can also thrust and curl your ribs up. If your pelvis is untucked, you want your ribs up. If your pelvis kind of stays tucked, you want to try to relax your ribs down a little bit more at first. So you find those motions in your body and come to a neutral spine more often, or as close as you can come to a neutral spine. Breathing here. And you'll find this over and over again. So walk up to your chair, sit back into a chair pose. You can tuck and untuck, tuck and untuck, tuck and untuck, tuck and untuck. Now, more often when we squat down, we want to be in the untucked position. But then from there, can you thrust and curl your ribs up without tucking your pelvis under? So keeping your buttocks back. Thrust and curl in a little. Thrust a little forward, curl in. Now, if any of this irritates your lower back, it's probably because you might have a habit of being in one position all the time. So go easy, like go slower, curl in, ribs thrust forward, and curl the ribs in. And then you've got a really secure core when your tailbone's untucked and your ribs are up here, breathing. And then from there, press up into your legs. Okay, so let's walk back. 2 straight arms, 2 straight legs. Try to untuck. So this is tuck, untuck. Ribs, if they're thrusting, curl up. And think of sitting back, but keeping your ribs up with 2 straight arms. And straighten your legs up. Keep your buttocks sticking back, ribs up if they tend to thrust. And slowly straighten. And sit back. And slowly straighten and sit back and slowly straighten. And then you can go ahead and walk back up to your chair and grab whatever you're going to use for a calf stretch. A thin block works, a rolled up towel works. This is a half dome. And then you're going to step your right foot up. Your left foot can be back or forward, any amount. Ribs relax down, elbow pits. So remember, when you first relax your ribs down, it's going to feel like this. Just slide your head back a little and turn your elbow pits forward. It won't take care of all of it, but that's the first step. And then one arm at a time swings back. Breathing here. All right, let's pause, ribs relax down. Let's do some head ramping where we slide our chin back like we're trying to make multiple chins and let our head relax forward a little, all without the ribs or the breastbone lifting up at all. All right, next time you slide back, drop your chin down to your chest. You can check, are my feet straight, ankles hip distance? If you want to step your outside foot forward a little, you can. And then bring your head up, interlace your right pinky finger on the bottom. Feel like you're dragging your shoulder blades down your back and hugging your elbows in. But see if you can differentiate between hugging your shoulder blades in and just hugging your elbows in. Can you keep your shoulder blades wide and just hug your elbows in as you slide your shoulder blades down your back? Try it. And then from here, just keep your hands on your back and go into a half forward fold, backing your hips up, elbows hug in, but shoulder blades wide. And slowly come up and then pigeon toe your foot. Check. When you're folding forward, do your hips do a little turn to one side or the other? Try to square your hips as you fold forward. You can always step your left foot forward a little bit more. And then slowly come up and turn your foot out to the side. Same thing, try to square your hips. And especially as you go forward, sometimes one will shift a little forward or back. Try to draw an invisible line between those two with your fingers. And breathing here. And then come on up and let's switch feet. Outer edge of the left foot straight. Ankles hip distance apart. Elbow pits wrap forward and one arm at a time. Breathing here. Front ribs relax down and back even more. Got some cracking going on in my shoulder there. I feel like it's a good crack. Go a little slower through that area, a little less range of motion to start out. All right, from there, let's go ahead and I was thinking of my cracking and I lost my train of thought. We're gonna ramp our head. Ribs relax down. And head ramps back and head hang. Elbow pits forward, ribs down and back. You can always step that outside foot forward or back a little bit. Feel the upper back nice and wide. Slide your head back. Interlace left pinky finger on the back. Feel like you're reaching your shoulder blades down and hugging your elbows in without squeezing your shoulder blades together. Breathing here. And then fold forward, watch your hips. Do they tend to twist to one side or the other? Try to square them as you fold. And then slowly come up and turn your foot in and square your hips as you fold. And then once you get to wherever you're folding to, check them again. And then come up and turn your foot out to the side. And as you fold forward, check. Are your hips even? Forward to back, side to side. And come on up and you can slide that block out of the way. And then we are going to stand with our feet straight and ankles hip distance apart. And we're gonna push down through our left leg and we're gonna do leg swings here. You're looking for several things. You're trying to push down so much through your left side that your right leg can stay straight and you don't feel like you have to hike your hip up. Now that might not come right away, but you're patiently working on it. You're trying to keep the edge of your right foot straight. You're noticing if your hips turn while you're swinging, trying to keep your hips square. And it's a very small swing because we're not trying to use too many of the lower back muscles, so it's a very small swing. Keeping your hips over your heels, you can always lightly hold on to a chair and put that foot down, edges the feet closer to straight, ankles hip distance, push down through your right hip, hug it in if it tends to pop out, and little swing backs. And notice that hip twist, because it makes a difference. Your leg can go farther when you turn your hip out. Well, first of all, we're not trying to go farther, and we're trying to hit specific muscles. So if you really keep your hips square, you'll hit those muscles a lot more. Breathing here. And sometimes you discover that, oh, I'm doing this all the time. Like when I'm walking, I'm probably slightly turning my hips out when they don't need to be. Push down through that side leg. All right, put that foot down and then cross your right ankle behind your left ankle and push your hips back. You can have your hands on your chair. You can rest your forearms on your chair. Take a breath here. And then come up and switch. Put your opposite ankle behind and push your hips back. And you can put your forearms on the chair. Breathing here. Relaxing any clenching around your hips, around your thigh muscles. Checking here. Tailbone in the air, ribs slightly up. All right, come back to hip distance apart, feet closer to straight, ankles hip distance, hips over the heels. You can work on neutral thigh bone, ribs relax down and back, head ramps back as you do a side bend on each side. And then we'll step our feet wider, but there's so many things to pay attention to. Outer edges of feet straight, pelvis in neutral, ribs relax down in neutral as you take your right arm up and over. And then take your left arm up and over. And then walk your feet a little bit wider and hips over heels as your right arm goes up and over. And then your left arm goes up and over. And then walk your feet one wider and hips over heels, ribs relax down and back. Right arm reaches up and over. And then left arm reaches up and over. Now your feet are nice and wide. Reach your arms out to the side. Slide your rib cage to one side. Slide your rib cage to the other. Try to keep your hips nice and steady. Try to keep your ribs really relaxing down and back as you slide side to side. Keep rotating the palms of your hands up. Keep on letting your breath flow here. Relax any clenching, excessive clenching in your leg muscles. All right, your feet are nice and wide. You can fold forward, hands or elbows to the back of the chair. Back your hips up over your heels and shift your hips side to side. Nice and smoothly. And as you go side to side, notice, do the hips want to twist a little bit one way or the other? You can even draw that imaginary line with your hand and try to go straight to the right and straight to the left. Two very straight legs, and let's just go side to side. Ribs slightly up if you tend to thrust, belly relaxed. Really try to keep the legs super straight, especially the farther you go over to one side. Go to the right. And hold back both of your hips up a little more. Try to feel like you're on the center of your ankles, breathing. And go to the left and hold. Try to back your weight up a little bit more, relaxing any unnecessary clenching. All right, come back to center, come up, your legs are still nice and wide. Upright, shift your hips straight to one side, straight to the other side. right, walk your feet into 3. Weight back over the heels, front of the feet gently pressing down. 2 very straight legs. As you go side to side, walk your feet into 2. Walk your feet into 1. And today, go as far as you can one direction without anything bothering you, as far as you can to the other. Press down equally through the soles of your feet. Okay, so from here, let's do some pelvic listing, where you push down through your left leg, your right leg hangs, and then you're letting your left hip go out a little bit and hugging it in. And you're trying to keep your hips square, so not twisting too much to one side or the other. Hip goes out, press down, hug in. Try to keep the ankle right under the leg. A cheat is kind of letting your leg go forward. And it's okay if your foot brushes the floor, you're just not putting your weight back on that foot. Push down, hip goes out and in. So you're mostly just working on this left outer hip. And so if you have any joint replacements, you want to get it cleared before you do it up on something higher, especially your hip. But you can do this version where you have 2 feet on the ground, because next we're going to try it with a block. Go ahead and push down through your left hip, hug it in, flex your, or right hip, hug it in, flex your left ankle. And I'm never putting any weight on my leg, even though it might kind of touch the ground a little bit. You're pushing down as much as you can, letting the hip go out to the side. Trying to square your hips at the same time. At first, you don't worry too much about the squaring, and you're just trying to get the motion. All right, walk back, 2 straight arms, 2 straight legs, breathing. Walk your hands over to the right side of the chair and back your hips up over to the left. You can always be thinking of neutral spine. Where is my pelvis and ribs in relationship to each other? Walk your hands over to the left side of the chair, back your hips up, and slide them a little bit to the right. So if you have a cork block, it'll be more sturdy. You could do a thick book. Anything you could stand on, a foam block works, but it's going to be a lot less stable, so it's going to be harder. You're going to put it underneath. Let's do our right foot first this time. Heel on, toes off. We're working with foot straight, ankles hip distance apart. And then you're pushing down. It's okay to be next to a wall, letting that foot hang and letting your hip go in and out. And you're trying not to touch the floor, but if your foot comes down, that's okay. I've actually noticed recently when I'm doing this that I'm kind of weaker as my hip goes out, so I have to try to go slower to control it more. See, my foot, when I get down there, my hip just really wants to drop out to the side. So between that and going in a little, I'm missing a little bit of strength there, and that's okay. That's why I'm here. That's why we're all practicing. These muscles take years to fully wake up after all the sitting and the shoe wearing and our feet turned out to the side. So it's a patient practice, but you'll start noticing results with balance pretty quick, which is really nice. Hips back over the heels. If you're new, it only takes 3 or 4 to really feel the work. Let's switch feet. I should have said that before you were. Edge of the foot straight, ankles hip distance apart, flex that outside hanging leg, and all the work is in this leg. And this one is just like a lot smoother for me, a lot smoother on the way out, a lot smoother on the way up, and I can go slower, which over time, if you can go slower, then you're working the muscle a little bit more as opposed to going faster. Definitely harder to go slower. Whew. Definitely harder to go slower. All right, we're going to keep coming back to that. Love it. All right, slide that out of the way. Walk back, cross your right ankle behind your left ankle, push your hips back. Come up to stand, keeping your ankles crossed. Take your right arm up and over. You can keep your left hand on the chair. You can reach over and gently tug on that right arm. Use those same outer hip muscles, grounding you down. Release your arms. Switch. Do your left ankle behind your right and push your hips back. Breathing here. Relax any clenching. All right, come up to stand, ground through your outer hips. Take your left arm up and over. And then, you can keep your hand on the chair. You can pull on that other arm. I'll just take another moment. I was just in the moment. All right, go ahead and uncross your legs. So we're gonna do the pelvic lift one more time. You can do it on the floor, or you can do it on whatever lift you have. And you're gonna hold. So if this is the out, you're gonna push down and hold. And you're trying to push down so much that your eventual goal is that without bending your knee, your hanging leg is slightly above the block in your other foot, because that's the strength we need to walk smoothly and not have a shuffle in our feet. So push down, hug that hip in, and hold, and try to square your hips. And of course you can keep one hand on the chair. Breathing here, pressing down and holding. Keep pressing down. All the work is through pressing down through the standing leg, not through lifting the other hip. It's almost like you're reaching down through both legs, but one leg is reaching down more and one foot staying slightly higher. And let's switch sides. So outer edges of feet closer to straight, ankles closer to hip distance, heel on, toes can hang off. Push down, hug that hip in, flex the ankle, and try to push down so much that the other foot ends up a little tiny bit higher than the standing leg. And breathing, square your hips. So if your hips are twisted, and they always twist, it means probably one stripe of muscles stronger than the other. So if you turn them to be squared, you start using those muscles more equally, which is good for so many reasons. Less friction in the joints, more circulation. That might mean, though, to keep your hips square, that you want to hold on for a little while. Breathing here, pressing down through that outer hip. And then come on off of there. Okay, you can slide that block out of the way, sit back into a chair squat, cross your right ankle over your left knee, sit your hips back, let that thigh drop open, wiggle your hips a little side to side like we did last week, and switch. Cross your opposite ankle over, sit your hips back, and a little wiggle side to side. Breathing. All right, we're gonna do a double calf stretch. So a rolled up towel, whatever you have, 2 blocks side by side, an extra rolled up yoga mat, and put the balls of your feet up and your heels down. Maybe walk them a little higher, maybe walk them a little lower, back your hips up. Still here, you can work on a neutral spine, and when you get your tailbone and your pelvis into neutral, you'll get a lot more length along the back of your legs as well. Your knees might want to bend more the more you tilt your tailbone up, so try to straighten your legs all the way. And breathing here. Subtleties like heels slightly in makes a big difference over time, so just keep checking all of your alignments. Take a little longer here today. Lower belly relaxes. Breathing. 30 more seconds. Maybe lift your kneecaps up and down. Come on up. And we're gonna come around back to our chairs, and we're gonna pay careful attention and give all our awareness to how we sit down. When you start sitting with your pelvis more upright and dropping your ribs down, you will feel your core muscles work so much more, and then you'll think you're good at it, and then one day you'll be like, oh, I can drop them down even more, and I can tilt my pelvis more forward, and then you'll use even more of your core muscles. So it's just a great thing. Sit up nice and tall here. Let's reach our right ear to our right shoulder, and our left arm comes out, and you can just kind of follow along with what I'm doing, but you're just going slow and moving your arm around and looking for different areas of tension around your neck, shoulder. Palm face up. And you're not trying to make big sweeping motions, they're just slow, smaller. And then pause anywhere that feels good to you and start to move your head around a little bit. Your chin can go up and down, your head can go front to back. You can stay forward and move your chin around, or you can stay back and move your chin around. And slowly bring your head up and your arm in. All right, left ear to left shoulder, nice and slow. Right arm goes out, keep dropping the ear to the shoulder, and nice slow movements. And let's say you hit a spot, or maybe you hit lots of spots, but you hit a spot here and it's like, ooh, like this is tight right along here, and just stay there and like wiggle, wiggle it out, or just get it a little more flow in that area. Like I found a spot right there. So I'm just gonna wiggle a little bit. Slow, gentle. Find any spot, pretty much any direction I go, I can find a spot, and then move your head around from there, or your chin around. Soften your face, relax your jaw. All right, slowly bring your head up and your arm in, and then we are going to cross your right ankle on your left knee, or put it on your block like we so often do. Tilt your pelvis as upright as you can and fold forward. Breathing here, shoulders relaxed. So when you fold forward today, recognize you thrust your ribs forward to go further. You want your ribs down and back, but your pelvis to rotate forward. And it makes a difference in the hips over time, as well as the neck and shoulders. All right, switch. Cross your opposite ankle over, and ribs relax down, but try to rotate as much as you can from your pelvis. Good, and come up and walk your feet nice and wide, inner thighs open here. You can use your hands to hold them open, but then push down gently through the inside of your foot and fold forward here. And you can go as far as feels good for you. Breathing, 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 rotating from the pelvis and holding. And press into your feet to come up and stretch your legs nice and long into a V shape and circle your arms up and down. Front ribs relax down and back. Keep flexing your ankles, keep reaching out long through your upper body. We're gonna do this for about a minute. So keep tuning into your breath, keep breathing. I'm gonna scoot back on my chair just a little bit. Front ribs relax down and back. Nice long legs, 20 more seconds, breathing. All right, pause. Left hand comes down to the chair. Right arm goes up and over. Flex your right ankle. Switch sides. Right hand comes on the chair. Actively flex your left ankle as you go up and over. Bring that arm down, slide your feet in. It's okay if your pelvis tucks under. Stretch your legs straight, flex your ankles, rotate your thigh bones out just a little bit. Keep trying to rotate more from the pelvis with a nice long spine. And then if you want to round your spine a little bit too, feel free to do that. And then come on up and sit all the way back in your chair. Let your gaze soften or your eyes gently close, and allow your body and your breath to be exactly as they are in this moment. We're going to stay here a little longer today because it just so happens that we have the time to do so. Keep bringing your awareness back to your body and back to your breath over and over again. Keep tuning into your body and your breath. allowing whatever you experience from your head to your toes, allowing your breath, allowing without judgment, allowing how you're feeling without judgment. Whether it's peaceful or irritated, whatever it is, let it be. Be with it. Allowing heaviness is not the same as clinging to it. Allowing difficulty is not the same as staying stuck. Allowing pain is not the same as identifying with it. Allowing grief is not the same as prioritizing it. Allowing sadness is not the same as becoming it. Allowing fear is not the same as idolizing it. Allowing loneliness is not the same as dwelling in it. Allowing happens with an open mind and curiosity instead of with over-identification and judgment. Allow yourself to have all the experiences of being human without judging them. Bringing our hands together at heart center in gratitude for this day. Namaste.